Okay guys, so I'm going to be trying out the new from NYX. This is the Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation. I also have the primer over here. So this is a mattifying primer. My son is awake. Sorry, he might come flying over here now. It says to apply evenly over skin and gently tap to set. So in this picture, okay, there's a finger with a circle. So you put it here, and then there are tap, tap, taps, and then number 3, you have stars coming off of your face. Okay, so I'm only going to put this where I get oily. Actually, when I bought this foundation and I bought the matching primer, the girl at the store was like, honey, are you oily? Like, when I picked this up together, and I was like, yeah, I'm oily. And she was like, okay. It's almost like she was a little bit worried about me buying it. It feels really good though. It does not feel way over drying. I've got quite a few other matte primers, and the second you put them on, it's like, and then you die. Like, they're just so matte. And this one does not feel that way at all. Actually, it feels like it kind of glides over the skin. Where are the ingredients? Oh, the first ingredient is water. And then it does have silicone. First ingredient is water. That's interesting. That's why it feels so creamy. For concealer, this is what the bottle looks like. It does look very nice. It's a glass bottle. It feels like it's got some weight to it, which makes it feel a little bit more luxurious in my opinion. It doesn't feel cheap. And then it comes with a pump. And this is a full coverage foundation. I believe there are 40 shades in this, and I was matched to medium buff. Now, I did not match myself to this one. I actually picked up, I think, beige. And the girl was like, did you get matched to this? Because I don't think that's going to work for you. And I was like, let me look at the bottle. Like, it looks like it's going to work. And she was like, that one is very, very yellow toned. And it oxidizes even more yellow. So, is that what you want? And I was like, oh, no. No. So, I was informed that this does oxidize. Keep that in mind. You might want to definitely be color matched, which is why I recommend going into a store to buy it rather than buying it on the line.
You're on the line. Online? On the line. Online. On the line.
This is what it looks like. It is a little bit runny, which is good. Something super duper thick might not be the best. This looks a little bit light for me. Oh yeah? This looks a little bit light. Okay, there's no smell. It seems to be going on very nicely. I really thought this was going to be like a crazy thick full coverage foundation, but it's definitely not thick. It's working its way around my face. Oh my god. It looks so bad over wherever I put that primer. It looks terrible. It looks really, really patchy. My pores are freaking giant. I don't know if you can see this, but it looks terrible with that primer. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to take this off with a makeup wipe, and I'm going to go in with primers that I know and trust. I will be returning that primer immediately. It's so patchy and dry looking. It's terrible. I'm going to jump off camera and make sure this is fully removed. I'm going to go in with probably my Catrice primer. And like I said before, it's kind of always better to use a primer that you know and love and trust, especially when trying out a new foundation. However, I went against my own rule today because when companies come out with a primer and a foundation, they're generally meant to be used together. So I wanted to give them a try together, but that was a complete and total fail. So I'm gonna be right back. Okay, let's try this again. Back to this. I'm so sorry, my son is like making so much noise. It's not like a super full coverage right away. It's much more of a light to medium, but buildable. I mean, it's more on the medium side. It's not light coverage, but it's certainly not full coverage either. I want to hope this color oxidizes because it is white. Definitely need to be doing 2 layers over my nose with a very light hand, because right down the center was not getting enough coverage for me. Always go down here. Dang, do you see that? Like those patches right there are really difficult to blend out. This foundation dries extremely quickly. Oh my god, it's so white. This is not my color. I bet you I was fine with that one that I picked. Okay, so here's the foundation on. I think it looks fine. I'm having some issues getting it right here by my nose. I feel like it is kind of accentuating my pores up close. I think from a distance it actually looks really, really nice, but up close I feel like I can just see like all of my pores, and I don't like that. The foundation dried really, really quickly, which made it a bit difficult to blend. Like I don't have any coverage right here, so you want to work very quickly and in very small sections. I don't know how this would be with a brush. I don't know, I feel like with the swirling motions of a brush, you would just have lines, you know what I mean? And then because it dries so quickly, you could try to go over it with a beauty sponge afterwards. But those circles, those brush strokes would already be dried in, so I don't really know if you could fix that. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and fix up a couple of these spots. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my face, and I'm gonna come back. You guys ever had one of those days where you just needed to... Okay, it has totally been one of those days. That one's a bit... Today's video, I was supposed to sit down and film a full day wear test on the new line from Nyx. I did put this on, you guys saw. I've had quite a few issues with both of these things, which ended up actually having me completely remove my makeup, start over, try it again, and when I finished filming that last little segment, I decided, no, this looks absolutely terrible. So I washed it off, and I redid my full face with products that I know that I love, that I know that actually work for me. So let's go ahead and talk about why this completely did not work for me. And we're gonna start with the primer. So this primer is a mattifying primer, and I will say that I did read a lot of reviews on this where people said, man, this is like super duper matte. And even when I purchased this in the store, the girl was like, honey, do you have oily skin? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, are you sure? Like even she was nervous about anybody buying this. So I have 2 other mattifying primers. One of them is from Becca and one of them is from Makeup Forever. These are both the mattifying primers. I've talked about these in a previous My Primer Collection video, and when it comes to these guys, the second that you try to go to blend it out, it is so like concrete matte. They don't move, they're patchy, they don't blend. When you try to put stuff on top of it, it just looks really patchy. So when I put this one on, I did not feel that at all. Now this, like I said, is water based, and because of that, it moves around. It's got some more slip and some more glide to it. So when you saw me putting it on, I was actually complimenting this because I enjoyed that. It did not feel overly or heavily matte like these guys here. And even when I looked at my skin in the mirror after putting this on, it didn't look patchy, it didn't look dry, it didn't look flaky, it didn't pill up. It looked fine, and it actually felt fine on my skin. It definitely mattified it, but it felt like a comfortable matte. So I was not nervous at all to then go in with this. However, this, on top of this, looked so bad. This with foundation on top of it is so drying and so patchy. I'm gonna try when I'm editing this video to see if I can zoom in and show you what was going on, because holy crap, it looked really, really bad. So that's when I decided to wash my face off the first time and go in with a primer that I know that I love, and that works for me. So that is why this one is a total no for me, and you will be going back. Actually, both of these products will be returned. So that was the first face wash. Then I went in with my Catrice Primer. So I went in the second time, and I'm blending it out. And the good thing is there is no smell to this. It does come with a pump. There are a ton of shades, and it is a matte foundation. So if you're looking for all of those things, this is probably a really good one. I do have oily combination skin. So I put the foundation on, and then I told you I was going to go off camera, finish up the rest of my face, and come back on and take you throughout my day so that we can do an actual wear test on this. Now, I turned off my camera, and I'm staring this close at my face, and the foundation looked terrible. It sat over and in my pores so that you could see like every little hole that I have. It would not blend in, you know, the hard to reach areas like by the nose or right in here. So I went in with a second layer right here on the sides of the nose, and it did fill it in, but it was also kind of lifting it in other areas. It was so weird. What I liked about the foundation is that it definitely did mattify and keep everything looking nice and like a clean slate. However, it just up close looked really, really bad on me, and I think honestly it's because if you don't have very oily skin, this foundation's just not going to work for you. It just did not work for me whatsoever. It didn't look good on my skin. It didn't make me feel good. I didn't like how it looked up close. So I ended up just completely, again, for the second time, wiping it off. But okay, here's the thing. I went in with a makeup wipe, and I went to remove this foundation from my face, and I had it everywhere. I had full face on from here to here. And it like would not come off, which is good, because that means, shit, this stuff is gonna last all day long. You're not gonna have any issues with it moving or leaving if you have oily skin, I feel like. However, I couldn't get it off for the life of me, so I'm sitting here like freaking scrubbing my face. It's barely coming off. My skin is red. It's starting to feel kind of itchy, and I was just having like the hardest time removing it from my face, and I was so irritated with the product at this point that I think like that was another reason that I'm just like, oh my god, you're totally getting returned. So I managed to get most of it off, and then I went in with a toner, moisturizer, primer, and my normal regular products, which is what I'm wearing right now. And my skin feels so dried out. My skin, especially like down here on my neck where I was really not able to fully remove this product, my skin here feels really tight, really dry. My skin feels like I want to just jump in a tub of water and have literally any kind of hydration on me. Like, this is just so matte. And again, that's a great thing. There are a lot of people who need super duper matte stuff like this. I used to be one of them, but if you are not super oily, I would not recommend either of these things at all, because it did not work whatsoever for me. And that sucks, because it's an affordable foundation. You can get it at the drugstore. There's always some kind of promotion out there, some kind of coupon or sale where you can get Nyx for some kind of a great financial deal. And generally speaking, I love matte. So it really sucks that this did not work for me. If you do try this, I would go in first with hydrating primers, hydrating anything to get some moisture in the skin, and I would not recommend setting this with a powder. And that is something that is really difficult for me to do. I always set foundation with powder, but I would not set this with a powder because I can only imagine how much more drying that would feel, and it would just be like a desert on your face, and that just does not sound exciting or good for me or for anybody out there. So if you have a super duper oily skin and you try this, let me know what your thoughts are. And if you don't, and you still have tried this and you like it, how do you use it? What do you use it with? How do you recommend that somebody would give it a try? Leave it in the comments down below so we can have a fluid conversation running down there. I really love hearing what other people's thoughts are. Obviously, my thoughts, My opinions are mine, so how I feel about this might not be how anybody else feels about this, but I know for me, both of these are a complete no-go, and they're both getting returned tomorrow. So, yeah. That'll be the end of today's video. I'm sorry it was a not so great one. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe before you leave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let me know what else you want to see from me. But anyways, that'll be the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.